we've sacked off Waterside D. It was a bit long for us to do 2 weeks before DW, so we're here today with Scott and Almir from Barking, and they're gonna give us a nice wash hopefully the whole way. And the cat is sporting a lovely brace now to keep her knee going. So how far are we going, Kat?
28 miles.
28, yeah.
28 miles, 4 hours 10, the boys say. So look at this Scott show.
Yeah.
Okay,
Bit of a breeze, but it's more.
Good morning. So I'm going to talk to you today about a topic of conversation that happens every year, and it's whether to do Waterside D or not. If you sign up for the series, then you're going to be doing Waterside D anyway, aren't you? If you're deciding to do just one of the Waterside series races, then I believe Waterside D should be it. If you're not carrying any injuries, if you're feeling fit and strong, you're not managing yourself in the lead up to the race, then it's a very good race to compete in, because it allows you to do the following things. First and foremost, all the training you've done up to that point, you'll have an idea of what kind of race pace you want to run at, okay? Waterside D over the first quarter of the course will give you the chance to run at that race pace to test and adjust to see if it's where you think it is. And that pays dividends in the planning of the race and the strategy you're going to employ for the main event 2 weeks later. Another good reason is it gives your support team a really good run out of the first third of the course, first quarter of the course, sorry, so they can work out their routines and fine-tune how they're going to best support you and meet you at those support stops. So it all becomes very, very familiar. Another good reason is it allows you to also test your fueling strategy. For most of the shorter paddles, we've not really been fueling as we would do for the race. So this is the first time where you can test that fueling strategy you want. Practice with the foodstuffs you want to use, vary them down that part of the course so you don't get fed up of eating the same kind of food. Understand what your cravings might be after 6 hours paddling, etc. And also at the end of the race to see if that fueling strategy worked. So that's what we did. It's a very good chance to practice all those things. And when we finished after 6 hours at Newbury, we had some really big tick-offs. First of all, the pace we paddled at is what we're going to paddle at on the main event, because it worked. The guys got a really good run out supporting us, and one of them is a new person, so the first chance for them to have a look at how to do things for us along the course. And lastly, even though after 6 hours in the boat you're going to be tired and sore after 6 hours of paddling, of course you are, but when we got to Newbury we were still full of energy, full of get up and go, and so that confirmed our fueling strategy, albeit we're going to make some fine-tune adjustments to the types of foodstuffs, because I was getting a bit bored of one particular thing already by that in the first quarter into the race. We're going to have to just change things, but we now know that for me, I need to make an adjustment. So Waterside D, yes or no? It's a fantastic race to do as a dress rehearsal for the main event. We've got some really, really good positives out of that, made some, proved some good concepts for the support team, and also confirmed our fueling strategy. So yes, if you've got no injuries and you're ready to go, then why not do it?
afternoon, everyone. It is Sunday the 6th of April. Pete and I are just on our way home after successfully completing Waterside D. In the back you'll see one of our support crew. It's a trial run for her as well, Lily that is. And so I'll hand over to Pete.
Oh, right, okay. So, Waterside D, I value this race. It's a good race to do because it gives you a chance to do the first quarter of the course with all the portages and get an idea of what your time on the Kennan Avon is likely to be, which is all important for the planning process you need to go through so you can establish your leave time from Devizes on the race to hit Teddington Lock during the opening window that you've got to try and achieve on the race, which this year is 7:20 to 9:50. We paddled at our race pace, so we've proven to ourselves now that we've done the right training for the event. And we had a really good workout with our support team, who to date we hadn't actually trained with, and also proved our fueling strategy with the types of food that we're going to eat for race day. So it's a really, really good dress rehearsal for the main event, and most importantly, it does allow you to set the time or have a good idea to set the start time for the race for paddlers like us who are doing it as a challenge in the best time we can achieve rather than racing for a win. Those crazy cats that came past us in a quartet today, it's amazing to see the speed they're going at. Us mere mortals went down at our race pace. So a really, really valuable day today, great event. Just a shame that we had a cold easterly wind all the way, which may have affected the times a little bit, but actually it's just another factor that we can take into account the week before the race when we really do sit down with the support staff and plan our race strategy.
Yeah, so the next thing we're going to do as Pete says, we're going to plan our start times. And this week we are going to do a couple of night paddles down on the Parrot, so local, and then we're going to do the Devizes 8 mile paddle to Honey Street, is it?
Yep.
Yeah, to Honey Street and back, and then meet up with the other half of the support team as well. So we go through the strategy then.
Or tactics.
And in between times we'll get a Teams meeting or something like that set up on the internet so we can all get together and have a chat then. But so it was a good day.
Yeah, we missed Cat and Fee though. They'd have enjoyed it today.
They would have done. Yeah, absolutely. Where were you? And I hope the knee's better.
Right.
All right.
Good morning. So, just prepping out some equipment for the, I suppose the next week of training, racing, and traveling. So, I suppose I have two main paddles. One is fixed length, one is adjustable. So my main one will be this sort of nice fixed length starboard Lima. Real nice paddle. Only real difference between the two paddles, exact same blades and everything. Slightly different shaft, so my fixed length is actually a bit more flex in it than the adjustable. The adjustable does allow for that little bit of flexibility in terms of if you want to make it a little bit longer. I definitely won't be making it shorter on this. And then I have a couple of spare other paddles stuck in there too with different blade shapes and sizes and things like that I use for different things. Big thing with paddleboarding, so a lot of time we wear a leash. So for this race and pretty much all races that are on rivers these days, we use quick release waist belt leashes. So that's dead handy if you do happen to fall in. So especially where we're starting to look more at the tideway and some of the barges and stuff passing by. Again, our center of gravity is so high that like if you get caught with a bad wake or a wake that bounces back off a wall, there is a chance you go into the drinks. So the leash means you keep the craft with you. Where I find them really handy though, even I use them the whole time, even when I train on canals, is actually for the portages. When you have super high portages, you can just literally jump out, grab your leash, whip up the board from the back, and away you go. So I'll probably have a couple of different leashes with me for the DW, because they do get wear and tear. They do perish, so just in case we were to, over the 4 days, damage one or two. Fins wise, so for the DW, this will be my first fin. I have 2 or 3 others that I'll have with me as spares, but this one's nice. Rakes back real far. likes to shed weed on canal, so it doesn't hold it as much just with the shape of it. And it's really good for going, pretty much just going straight. I have some slightly longer, slightly shorter, slightly different shaped ones. Again, we'll see if the conditions on the tideways are quite rough. We might change up the fin for something more like I'd use on an ocean, just to give a little bit more balance and support. So this is sort of the kit outside of the board that I'd be having. But like that, yeah, 2 nice paddles, I suppose, my main and my spare. Probably bring at least one other spare with me just in case. And then I'll have 2 or 3 fins and a couple of leashes with me for the trip. And then nutrition wise, I suppose this is pretty much what will be in my pockets and what I'll be having with me. So say hello to my partner in crime. So I will have, usually I'd probably just carry one 90-gram carb gel. I like these SAS ones, just the flavour is nice, something a bit different. These new 60-gram chews, I've been using the 30-gram ones. These ones only came out there recently, so they're the same flavour, same ingredients, everything, just slightly bigger. So I'll be chowing down on some of them. So like the 60 grams, so 60 grams, these are just under 30 grams. You're like 30 grams for half an hour really. And I have some of the smaller ones here. So in my buoyancy aid, I've got a nice pockets across the front like that. I'll probably carry enough for, I'd probably have enough to sustain myself if I didn't stop for the whole length of the race, and then my support crew along the way. And then just to fill my stomach, because what I find for me is these things, they don't fill me up, is that I have a couple of these sort of little, like almost like little raisin brioches that just give my stomach something inside it. But yeah, it'll be a combination of these and electrolytes, and that'll be me. Good morning. Another beautiful spring glory, well, it feels like summer morning here in the Barrow Valley and southeast of Ireland. 1 week out exactly from the start of the DW, so it's Friday morning. Next week we will be cruising along the canal for a couple of hours. The training sort of has tapered down last week. A lot of recovery, a lot of focus on getting a couple of niggles in shoulders and different areas sort of ironed out before the big day. This weekend as well, I head to Belgium to do a nice 40-kilometer race around sort of canals there between Antwerp and Ghent. So that should be a nice little start to my Easter adventures. So from Ghent then we'll come back to Ireland, a couple of days recovery here, and then jump on the ferry next Wednesday to head to the UK. So lots of travelling, lots of fun, lots of adventures coming up. And I've got my trusty training partner here. He's been running up and down the side of the river now for the last couple of weeks, so happy days. Something to keep me entertained as well as I paddle along. We'll see you in Devizes next Friday.
Morning. So it's the eve of my 12-hour race today. We've got 3.5k loops for 12 hours, so I'm hoping to do about 81, which will be about 80 kilometers. So I'd say that's a good warm-up for next weekend. Feeling really good about DW. Training's been going well, feeling healthy. Touch wood or touch my decking, because we all know that can change overnight. Food wise, really getting that dialed now. Just doing a food trial tomorrow again. Lots of calories every hour. I think I've worked out it's about 252 for me. And then the crew, well, Alan and Albert are well versed and well tracked to be meeting me at the meeting points along the days, and obviously I'll be carrying some of my stuff. So looking forward to being on the water tomorrow and then having a bit of a break for a few days to recover. and then we'll see you all on Thursday. I'm super excited. Have a great time in the weekend in the sun. Okay, we are less than 2 weeks away from DW. Yesterday it was the Waterside D weekend, so it was Sunday, 2 weeks before DW. A lot of people go and paddle from Devizes to Newbury. I don't really like doing Waterside D before DW because it's basically like Groundhog Day when 2 weeks later you have to go and do exactly the same stretch. Also, it's quite a long way, it's quite a ditch of a canal, bit of a risk of injury and sore wrists and these sorts of things. However, we still need to do big volume, and since I tweaked my knee, we missed Waterside Sea and we missed a couple of other key training paddles that we were going to do, like a nighttime run from Newbury to Reading, which is a pretty technical section. So yesterday we did Newbury to Marlow. Wanted to go and see all of those portages that we're going to do in the middle of the night, and also have a little poodle on the Thames because everyone was chirping that it's really, really low and it's going to be so slow and so awful, and that's not true. It's kind of normal. Really low was 2011 and 2012 when it was flying backwards for a majority of the lower section, and there was a headwind, and I think there was about 15 QMEGs going down. This is fine, this is normal. So that allayed a few of our fears. I needed that information to build our schedule, because without Waterside C we don't have a good time. We've only got Waterside A, and that was a while ago. We also started with a couple of the bad boys, and I have their Waterside C time, and I know how much quicker they were than yesterday, so I can use that for a bit of maths. More about that next time, because that's kind of the boring bit. And now we're on to the taper. So we've finished all the long paddles. I think I did about 75 kilometres last week, or in the run up to last week, and then now it'll probably be 20 to 30k this week, and then next week will be 5-10 when we hit the race. So it's all about recovery, checking that my knee didn't get too angry from portaging yesterday, but so far so good. A little bit clunky, but could be worse. And starting to look at, do we have the right kit, safety stuff? Have we read the rules? Were there any changes? So yeah, now to the technical stuff. So something I said that I would talk about a few weeks ago was why do I keep doing DW? So this is my 11th DW. So I've done everything from doing it with my school in big 20 kilo glass fibre boats, just get tough and paddle, big plastic heavy paddles, and I loved it. And then since then I got into paddling after school and through university, and did all sorts of types of paddling, and one of my student friends said let's do DW, so we did it non-stop, and I learnt how to use wing blades and fell in love with marathon as a sport, but DW is just something else. And loads of my friends are in the DW community, and we start ringing each other from sort of February onwards. Who's doing it with who? What are the conditions going to be like? What's the newest kit on the block? We start having really technical and geeky conversations that, only those who've completed the race at least once or trained for it are in the know. It's a bit, the Illuminati of DW. And we're going to dine out on it all the way through DW, and probably to prize giving, and maybe a little bit beyond. Who did what? How was that? Who won the team trophy? What was the race like? And this year it's so exciting because the top end of the race is so sharp. I've had the privilege of being in the top end of the race 2 out of my 11 times, and it's fun. It's fun to be racing DW. And this year, we're racing for a time, but we're not in the race. I've raced on the ladies one as well, where we've been neck and neck through the night. Fantastic to have 2 ladies crews like that. So it's just so fun, and every year is different. So last year it was the highest conditions I've ever done it. 2013 was the coldest DW has ever run, coldest Easter on history. 2012, lowest and hottest DW on history, with 15 QMAX going down the river. This is
looking like it's going to be fairly inert, but you know, are we going to have a big temperature drop? Is that going to knock a load of people out? You know, it's little tricks of the trade and things like, well, you know, it always gets cold at bolters, you know, remember that. So it's so technical, and every time you go, right, we're going to try something different, try something new, tweak something, and give it another go. So why do I keep coming back to DW? The community, all the gossip, the technicality of the race, the different projects you can have with the different paddler, do it in K1, so much variety and opportunity, and every year is so different. The conditions, the technicality, the support crews, it's just so much fun. There's no other race like it. Oh yeah, and also I just love paddling for a really, really, really long time. So even on the years when I'm not training for DW, I still do DW training, and the watersides are the best races. The Thames sides are pretty good as well. Who doesn't love grinding through hours and hours of miles in disgusting cold conditions? I mean, look at this delightful weather. Who wants to paddle in this when you can paddle all the way through the winter? So yeah, DW training is fun. DW is fun. Gross, wet, cold conditions, they're fun. I think you've got to be slightly bonkers to want to do this.